Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Do remember, if you'd like to subscribe to this channel, hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell right here and select all to receive all notifications upon the videos that come out on this channel. Also, my backup channel is Tony Harvin Network if you'd like to do the same. Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'd like to thank everybody for coming to this channel, liking, subscribing, leaving your comments, whether positive or negative. Much love and much prayers to everybody out there. You know, we're here to talk about a news story in reference to a so-called preacher being arrested for a murder. But back in 1975, he was recently arrested for this murder charge. Y'all know my disclaimer. I'm not a pastor, preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church, so please do not lay claims of those titles on me. You know what I mean? We're not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement at all. We broadcasting from two YouTube channels at one time. We broadcasting from my primary YouTube channel, Tony Harvin, and my secondary YouTube channel, Tony Harvin Network. So if you see me commenting or speaking to somebody in the chat room and you don't see them, that is because they are on the other YouTube channel, which though I could see both chat rooms at one time. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to Flemings. Hope all is well. Scallion. Scallion, listen, we'll get back to that. What is that? Lisa? I'm gonna call you Lisa. What up, Jeremy? What up? Chanel. Hope all is well. Willa Boyd, TK, John Sheffield, Cynthia Davenport. What up to Ruby Campbell? You says, who did he murder and when did he murder them? We'll get to that in a minute. We're gonna share it. I'm gonna share the screen in a bit. So just be patient with me. We're gonna share the screen, and that's why I put in the thumbnail, forgive or fry him and things like that. So we're gonna talk about it. What up, Roger Jackson? Hope all is well. What up, AG? Shout out to you. We're here to talk about this because this is kind of like shaky a bit, when it comes to forgiveness in general. All right. So it says pastor charged with murder in a cold case of an 8-year-old girl. All right. This was recently reported around 8:27 p.m. Not too long ago, but I seen another article earlier. So it said an arrest was made this past Monday in more than 40-year-old murder case in Marple Township in Delaware County. This is the guy. Is some type of ad coming up. Excuse me about that. David Santra, if that's how you pronounce his name. Moretta, Georgia, was charged with multiple offenses, including criminal homicide and first-degree murder and the killing of an 8-year-old, Gretchen Harrington, in Marple Township in 1975. So he's charged with a murder that happened back in 1975. Back in 1975 at Jeremy. As we continue on with the story, that is him right there. He's 83 years of age. They said he confessed to the killing. So he confessed to the killing as it is outlined in this news article right here. If you can see it, it says officials say David confessed to the killing. That is his last name. I don't know how to really pronounce that. It said the case sent shockwaves through Broomall and Marple Township in 1975. I believe this place is in Pennsylvania. So you have a person who committed a murder 40 years ago, nearly 40 years ago, right? And he happens to become a pastor and things of that nature and whatnot. I mean, that's why I said earlier, it's kind of, you think about it, because a lot of people, and I'm not justifying his actions at all, because a lot of us have done things in the past and things like that. So what do I say? You know what I mean? Of course he can be forgiven, but the prosecutors and the judges, listen, they don't flow that way. You understand? They do listen, they do not flow that way at all. So I don't know if he did it when he was a preacher or, before he came one, but he confessed to the murder, 40 years. Jeremy Dunbar says you have to forgive him. It's not easy and obviously very difficult. What up to Kim? What up? What up? AG says so. Pastor's a paraphernalia, a pedophile. Excuse me. What's up? What's up, guy? What up? What up? What up? Beatrice says you got to email First Church on that one. You got to email truthofgod.com. Truthofgod.com. All right. At Beatrice Fleming. Truthofgod.com. AG says 40 years old. Yikes. No statute on case. No, I don't think murders have any type of statute of limitations on it at all. So if you was 15 years old and you happen to be 120 and you committed a murder at the age of 15 and they find out or you confess to it 100 years later, ain't no statute of limitations on that at all. You know what I mean? They're going to most likely put you in prison or something like that still at the end of the day, for sure. Willa Boy says, Bro T, just want to put out there, went on First Church and saw it saying that said Apostle Geno Jennings deals 70% of when I click on it, these books are not by Apostle. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Put the link in the chat room. Put the link in the chat room. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. AG says, so he was 43 years of age and the girl was 8. That is correct. That is correct. If you do the calculations and the math on that, you're absolutely right about that. So, why would a man, who's 43 have any dealings with an 8-year-old? You know what I mean? But you got some sick people out here, for sure. Can some people get right from things like that? Yes. You know what I mean? But he still is going to see some prison time at the end of the day. Was it a good thing that he confessed? But why did he have to wait 40 years after to confess to the murder of this 8-year-old girl? Why? And there's a lot of people out there, that's holding murders within themselves that they have done. There's people out here walking scot-free, just like there's people in prison that are innocent. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of innocent people in prison right now. And there's a lot of people on the street who have committed murders that are still walking scot-free. You know what I mean? Scallion says, forgive him. Of course. But what do you think the judges and the prosecutors are going to want to do to him? Because, listen, a high percentage of them, they don't follow truth at all. They may say, put your hand on the Bible and all this other stuff, but they don't open it and read it, nor do they apply it to their life at the end of the day. What up, Ernest Beard? What up, what up, what up? What up, Jen Juice? Priscilla, what up, what up, what up? Hope all is well. We just here talking about the story of this so-called preacher who was arrested for murder. He let 40 years go by before he confessed to the murder and things like that. For sure, that's a serious crime right there. That's a very, very, very serious crime, for sure. You know what I mean? I don't know if it would have made a difference if he would have confessed at the time of the murder or now. He still would have to serve prison time at the end of the day, for sure. There's a lot of families out here that have experienced a family member who's been tragically killed or missing in general, and still haven't found no answers. Jeremy says what they want to do and the right thing are completely different. We as believers have to say no to the death penalty. I agree. I agree with that, with the death penalty. But at the end of the day, if a judge or a jury or whatever the case may be, if they usher that in, I mean, it's nothing we could do about it. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I wish death on nobody. But in certain states and certain things that people do, they can receive the death penalty for sure. Cheryl Gibbons, he says the murder is what probably caused him to become a preacher, but since he brought it up and confessed, I guess whatever, Georgia law says about it, of how long he should be in prison if he even go. Mm. Albert Fuller, he says, reading, brother Tony. It's been a long time. I guess you mean greetings. It's been a long time since I spoke to you. Hope I'll be able to see you in Greensboro again in the week. Appreciate that. Lord willing. Shout out to you. Ruby Campbell says he will be charged based on the year of the crime. 1975. Jen Juice, he says fry. So you want him to be fried? Oh, you said fried. I ain't gonna say all that. Or take him to the guillotine, like Denzel said. Forgiveness is between him and God. It would be my job to arrange the meeting if that was my blood he hurt. That's something deep right there. Wendy Smith, good to see you on here. Wendy Smith, shout out to you. Shout out to Wendy Smith. RJ Walker, he says this is crazy. Not a pastor doing a great job, brother. Jeremy says if a judge grants the death penalty, then he does not have a good judgment. Yeah, and a lot of judges they fry people, man. A lot of judges they fry people. At the end of the day, they have a lot of them have no heart. At the end of the day, for sure. Granted that yes, people should pay for what they have done. You know what I mean? Yes, people should spend prison time and things like that if they commit a serious crime or just a crime in general. All right. Kim says I'm pro-life, all aspects. He says, remember what Gino said yesterday. Let's not be too overzealous. Cheryl Gibbons says, I know in GA, if they have any way of knowing she was sexually molested, he will get the full sentence. Molestation can be pulled from 48 years back. The only crime in GA, they have no limitation statute. Wow. Waller Boy says, I'm so sorry, my bro. I'm not phone savvy. And I tried to find it, but couldn't. Someone is promoting their books under Apostle's name. Well, I really don't like to switch subjects and whatnot. Somebody asked me a different subject in the first comment, I guess because y'all don't have a chance to really ask me certain questions at times. But there are people out there, yes. There was somebody out there in New York one time, I think trying to sell Truth of God material one time. You know what I mean? I think I was working as a truck driver, and the person was from an area that I was delivering at, and they was selling, the material. That's crazy. Jeremy Dunbar says, I agree with prison time. That's what should help him. Christopher Span, he says, I want to be careful. All I can say on this subject, may the Lord have mercy on his, I guess you meant on his soul. Priscilla Wayne says, he confessed, but has he repented? So what if he did repent? What if he did repent? What if he did get right? What if he did, what if he was baptized right and things like that? What would you say about that at Priscilla Wayne. TKC said he does deserve prison time. I don't believe that saying he should be in prison would make any of us less Christian. He said, good old chemical castration. That would do the trick. Mm. You funny. Jeremy Dunbar says, who are we to say he hasn't repented? Remember, only God knows his heart. Mm. Yeah. Devon says, greetings. What up, what up, what up? Hope all is well. TKC says, in my opinion, in this situation, forgiveness is up to, man, y'all in these big words, man. Listen, I ain't go to Harvard. I ain't go to Yale or Cornell. I went to the University of Phoenix. Y'all in these words, man, of the victim and not us. Willard Boyd says, I say fry until he, for what he did to that child. Wow. Hey. Gladys, you says, greetings, everyone. How you all doing? Sandra Williams says, hey, Tony, what's up? Hope all is well. With you, we're just here talking about this story with this, I guess, so-called pastor who confessed to a murder that happened back in 1975. And people are talking about it, whether he should receive the death penalty and what should be his punishments and things like that, for sure. All right. He says, whatever happened to John Bonet killer? I mean, I don't know. Was that person a preacher or something like that? Jeremy Dunbar says, I'm not saying he has repented. I'm saying we shouldn't be so hasty to put him. We shouldn't be so hasty to put him to death. Oh, it's my prerogative. What are you, Bobby Brown or something? It's my prerogative. You must be listening to Bobby Brown, New Edition. Listen, you know what I mean? Listen, it's all good if you listen to, you know what I mean? My Secret and all that. New Edition, not my kind of girl. You know what I mean? It's all good. You on this Bobby Brown tonight. Christopher Span says, you hit us with tough news and tough topics. The simple fact of the matter is this: if you don't forgive, if you don't have a repentant heart, that forfeits you getting into heaven. I agree with that. I agree because that I believe that's in Matthew chapter 6, verses 14 and 15. Right underneath that Our Father which art in heaven prayer, which is verses 9 through 13. You know what I mean? So it does talk about forgiveness. Paraphrasing, if you don't forgive, how can God forgive you? So you're absolutely right about that one, for sure. But a lot of people out here, they have a very unforgiving heart, especially if you hurt their loved one. So a lot of them are very stubborn in their ways, like they can't forgive this person. No way, they would never forgive them at the end of the day, which is a very dangerous thing, for sure. So you're right. Stacy Starr says, good evening. What up, what up, what up? Hope all is well. TK, he says, I was trying to say, is it up to the relatives of the victim to forgive him or not, and not us? Well, I mean, he hasn't done anything to me at all. You understand? Hasn't done nothing to me for me to forgive him or not. It's the family members, or if anybody's put in a situation, like that, could you forgive that person like right away? You understand that? Could you forgive that person like right away? Because you just never know when your time is coming. You know what I mean? And a lot of people hold on to deep grudges and stuff like that. Shirley Gibbons says, I think he probably repented and it was eating him up inside. That's why He said something. I just feel bad for the family that this had to come back to the light after all these years. Oh yeah, oh yeah, you're right about that. Christopher Span says, on the flip side, if you're a mother or father, it's within your nature to seek or want vengeance. Listen, you're right about that, man. You're right. See, a lot of people don't understand that, especially if they don't have kids or if somebody just over righteous and it hasn't happened to them. You know what I mean? A lot of over righteous, a lot of overzealous people are that way, because it hasn't happened to them. Well, I'm just gonna pray. I'm just gonna quote some scriptures and this is and that and cut it out. Cut it out. Because if somebody harm my child or make an attempt, oh man. Oh man, listen, I'm ready to get down with the get down. I'm ready to get down with the get down and hope the Lord forgive me, give me some more time on earth to let me get my licks, let me get my couple of licks off, and then seek forgiveness. You understand? And then that person go to prison or something like that. You know what I mean? I just want a little bit of time to get my licks off, and I don't mean a physical lick. We speaking in metaphorical terms. You understand with these and in the legs and in the wrestling and tussling. That's what I'm talking about. If somebody happened to harm a child of ours. See, a lot of over righteous people, a lot of people, them holier than thou. I won't do nothing. I'll just quote scripture and this. I'll listen to a preacher and just kick back. Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, right, sure. You understand? You could listen. You could do all that. While you doing all that, I'm gonna be rumbling. You understand that? It's gonna be a battle royal for sure. You know, it's gonna be like the Undertaker, the Ultimate Warrior, Ravish and Rick Rude, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, you know, Diesel, Razor Ramon. Oh, it's gonna be a battle royal for sure. You know what I mean? All right. Jeremy says Hitler is apples and oranges. Oh, you're talking to Jen Juice. He says Hitler killed millions and performed genocide. This guy killed one person. Cheryl Gibbons says, I pray for her family and him also. A sin is a sin in God's eyes. He says, stop throwing shots. I don't listen to that no more. That's funny. Maria Major says he has to pray for what he did. He says a man that loved God, his house was turned upside down after he sinned. Wow. Sandra Williams says, well said. He says, well, Tony, he should have tie a millstone around his neck and jump into the sea. Well, okay. Willow Boyd says, so he is just now confessing to this crime that he did in 75. Yep. He just now confessed. Monday, he was arrested, which is what, today, right? Yeah. He confessed it to the crime that happened in 1975. You know what I mean? Yep. That is correct. All right. Jeremy says, I think it would take time to forgive him, but everyone must. Gladys says, as a shepherd of the church, he was still leading God. God saw everything. It's between him and God now. Okay, got you. William Shepard said, who did he kill? He killed an 8-year-old child back in 1975. And he just now confessed to the murder after almost 40 years. He killed an 8-year-old child, Gretchen Harrington. Jen Ju says, all those people saying to forgive, I wonder if they have the same energy if it happened to their own kids, wife, bro, sis, mom, and dad. Like I said, let me get my licks off first. Let me get these licks off first. Lord, forgive me. I'll forgive them. After I see some bruises and bumps on them. You understand? After I see some black eyes and things like that, for sure. I'm not aiming to kill this person, but you know what I mean. I want to get my licks off first. You know. All right. Priscilla Wynn says, if he repented, that is between him and God. Maybe God would show mercy, but here on earth, man will do what they think is best to do. What he did is absolutely wrong. Mm. TKC says, are there any articles that state why David had committed this crime? Well, let me look through a different one, you know. So let's go to this one right quick. There's another article that we could touch on right quick. Let me just go to it right now and just bear with me. All right. Here we go right here. So it says former. Now this article says he's a former minister. He's charged with 1975 murder of an 8-year-old. It said it happened in Broomhall, Pennsylvania. Has been a mystery for decades. Mm. So this is the article right here from back in 1975 of the girl. You know, it says on the morning of August 15th, 1975, Gretchen Harrington, 8 years old, left her home in Broomhall, Pennsylvania for summer Bible school. The Trinity Chapel Christian Reformed Church was less than a half a mile down the road, but Gretchen never made it. So basically, that kind of, did she walk there by herself, 8 years old? Well, I remember back in the day, you could do that. Skeleton remains found nearby in Riley Creek State Park on October 14, 1975, was later identified of her. The cause of death, ruled a homicide, was found to be injuries to her head. But for decades, no one knew who killed her. Now, here it is right here. The district attorney office in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, west of Philadelphia, announced that it had filed charges against David, 82 years of age, of Marietta, Georgia, in the murder of this 8-year-old child. He was a minister at the church in the 1970s. He was charged with criminal homicide, kidnapping of a minor, possession of an instrument of crime, and murder of the first, second, and third degrees. He was taken into custody recently. He is being held in Cobb County, Georgia, where he has been denied bail. I don't see where it states that why he did it. Maybe later on when they do more articles and stuff like that, they probably will mention that. You know what I mean? But I don't see that to TK. Digital says beat the brakes off of him. Beat the brakes off of him. Jen says, quote scripture, why a monster is your daughter or sister. Where they do that ad, it must be in. You're right. Too many overzealous people. Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I'm a realist, man. You understand? If somebody, touch a family member, that feel violated, especially if somebody's with me, you know what I mean? We definitely getting down with the get down. You know what I'm saying? You definitely gonna get down with the get down. Now, all these other over righteous church people, they'll tell you something different, but not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to get it in, man. For real. You know what I'm saying? But we will hope that nothing like that happens. Cheryl Gibbons says, oh no. Now, if she was mine, even after all these years, I don't know what I would do. But like I said, all the hurt that never left would be stronger. Once you lose someone, the hurt never leaves. That's so deep right there. What up, Carol Worrell? What up, what up, what up? Harriet says the pastor was probably. What are you talking about? You talking about the girl? Cecilia Bryan says, may God have mercy on his soul. TK says, it's easier for most of us to say that the relatives of the victim should do this or do that. But until we experience a similar situation, we will never know what we would do ourselves. Carol says maybe he now confessed because he knows that he's about to die and doesn't want to go out with that on his conscience. Christopher says inward psychologically, um, inward psychology, witches use that so a person can tell his business. Pay close attention to the word, Smith. Nice try. Okay. Jen says, why do so many monsters on death row suddenly find God? I've watched death row documentaries and they pretend to be so innocent and meek like butter won't melt. Makes Stacy Starr says it took 40 years for this pastor to confess. Think about the family wondering what happened to this child and those family members that might have already passed away without closure. Yeah, that's crazy. Tracy says, forgive and fry him. I'm sorry, back in the biblical times, that's what would happen. That's why all these heinous crimes keep happening. No repercussions for their actions. Good, I think, says, can you imagine her parents praying, searching for her, hoping they will find her? The emotional and mental anguish. Meanwhile, David knew and kept quiet, but maybe it was by mistake and he was afraid. Wow. Yeah, could be true. What up to levels? Kim says the prisoners are going to get him for that type of crime. It's possible. Jeremy says nobody is saying it is easy to forgive. We are saying if you don't forgive, you are sinning yourself. It's funny how people forget the scriptures that are what is that? Hearts to do. Hearts. He says, I thought this was live on the 25th at 12:40 a.m. I don't know what you're talking about. The 25th. My scheduled time says 9 o'clock today. I'm looking at it right now. I don't know what you're talking about. What's up? What's up? David B. He says, if we call ourselves believers in Christ, he tells us to forgive, then why do we resist the Lord's orders? Now it would most definitely be hard, but we must come up to it. God forbid. Harriet says he was probably abusing a girl and was afraid she would expose him to kill her. Good, I think, says some murderers finally see they're wrong and repent, but some go to death not repentant. I have seen some serial killers go to the death penalty, cursing at God and laughing and mocking. Wow. Wendy Smith says God doesn't think like a man. If he did, we would be in trouble. The Bible says our war is not with the flesh and blood, but with a spiritual warfare. Wow. AP, he says, look at God's grace and mercy. They allowed him to wake up every day for 40 plus years, waiting for him to repent and confess. Wow. Ruby Campbell says, it's amazing how long false pastors been around. Thanks to PJ for opening my eyes, and I now open others' eyes to recognize those false prophets. Level says, okay, you're talking about YouTube. Cheryl Gibbons says, in 1996, two of my boys was missing for 30 minutes, and I felt what a mother goes through in 30 minutes. Just guess what they go through hours, days, and years. That was the longest 30 minutes of my life. Wow. Jeremy Phipp, he says, what is the motivation of the pastors committing the murder? Well, it doesn't say in the articles. It didn't say in the articles why did he do it and things like that. Maybe it updated articles when he come out and, talk to the media more and things like that. It probably would be published with these news articles. Jeremy Dunbar says, I have two boys myself. God forbid something like this happen to them. I will be angry, but if I don't forgive and die, hell will await me. Okay. Okay, all right. TK, you said it's important to note that no one is saying forget the scriptures that are hard to do. We are being realistic and saying most people can't not say or what they will do unless they have experienced this. Hmm. Wow. William says he could have repented right then and there. Why didn't it take him 40 years? I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of people out here still holding on a lot of things, probably longer than that. You know what I mean? Some people, holding on to murder. They're holding on to theft, things that they have done that, they are afraid. I'm not giving no excuse for him or anything like that. No way. Willa Boyd says, I'm originally from Ohio, and there was 3 girls abducted in Cleveland. Amanda Berry was one of them, and she ended up having a baby by her, the person who kidnapped her. Family never gave up hope after 10 years of missing. Wow. Wow. That's crazy right there. Jen says, thanks for covering that monster's face because I don't want to have nightmares. Ah, man, that's crazy, yo. That's crazy. The Cheryl Gibbons says, I look at him as a murderer. I wonder, is there any more he haven't said anything about? Wow. That's a good one right there. Does the man have any more murders that he has to confess to or want to confess to at the end of the day? Because if the man got more bodies that he took out, he might be looking at the death penalty. You just never know. I mean, they might grant him the death penalty on this one. But, the man is 85 and, close to, checking out age wise and stuff like that. So we'll see in the upcoming articles, for sure. All right. So I'm just going to do these comments right quick. You can forgive me. He said John Benet Ramsey was killed in her $1 million home. No killer ever identified. That's something deep right there. What up, BT? You said you will reap what you sow. In other words, what goes around comes around, right? What goes around comes around. Cheryl Gibbons says, I'll be glad when more information comes out. This is so sad. Jeremy says, why do people try to say how long it should take? It should take someone to repent. How long did it take for you to repent to God and go down in water? PJ also said to look at yourself. Excuse me. He said PJ also said to look at yourself first this Sunday. Absolutely. I agree with that. You understand? I definitely agree. Oh man. Gladys says I watch who and what should you glory in? PJ teachings. These monsters are everywhere. Don't trust them. TK says, my opinion is that he knows that his death is near, and he probably felt that if he confesses now before his death, that God will probably have mercy on him. That's my guess. John Smith, he says, bless you. Bless you too. Willa says he's old and his time is near the end, so he's being convicted. How can you kill and live with that on your mind? I know it had to haunt him all these years. Most likely, yeah. Most likely, yeah. But when you are probably a psycho, and one example is Alpo Martinez, you know, who had about 14 bodies who he confessed to, and the man comes out of prison, after about 25 years, wasn't a witness protection, but he came back to Harlem. And then he did a little video of him showing how he killed, his best friend. How can a man do that? You know what I mean? Some people just have no conscience at all, just cold hearted. So when he was doing the interview, showing and explaining how he killed his best friend, the man had no remorse at all. So you got people out there like that, you know, to have killed somebody or killed bodies, 14 bodies he confessed to, and not even in one video I've heard that he was sorry about them. So when he talks about it, he doesn't feel no certain way at all. You know what I mean? So you do have some people out there who just don't care, who just have a cold heart, and don't care about your life or anybody else. He says it's demon possession. Mm. He must be related to that deceased Witch Carolyn Brian Emmett Till's murderer. It's that inbred demonic spirit they all have. It's a fact. Yeah, I mean, some people just don't care about, life itself. They don't care about another person's life at all. So you're absolutely right. They play for keeps. They play for themselves, and things like that. Just think about the murder. We're going back to the Alpo Martinez situation. That whole era. Whereas though his best friend before he was killed, the uncle of the best friend, Rich Porter, he kidnapped his own nephew for ransom. You know what I mean? Kidnapped his own nephew. You know what I mean? Chopped his own nephew's finger off. Tortured the little boy. Had a tape recorder with the little boy screaming and crying and pleading for help. Either a tape recorder or called the family. The own uncle did it to his nephew. You know what I mean? And then killed him. You understand that? All over $1. You know what I mean? So some people don't care about life at all. They will do it to their own family members, even a child. You know what I mean? That situation was all over drugs and money, for sure. All right. Jeremy Dunbar says, I agree. There are people out there like that, but we can't jump the gun and accuse him of being the same. Hear the whole matter. Ruby says, a lot of people has gone to their grave and never confessed to their crimes. Pure evil. Willa Boy says, my Lord, now you know that Satan himself. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So some of us seen the movie Paid in Full, Mekhi Phifer and stuff like that. It painted somewhat of a picture of the story. That nephew, the nephew killing him, that little boy, was a real situation. You understand? How could a parent go through something like that when somebody sends a finger of your child and a male? You understand that? And they let you hear your child screaming and crying and pleading for help. You know what I mean? So yeah, that is wicked. You understand? That is very, very wicked, for sure. You got a lot of people out there just over $1, over drugs, over materialistic things. You know what I mean? Christopher Span says, I agree. They will do it to their own children. Big facts and huge facts. Yeah, that's true. That is true. And the whole time of them trying to find the little boy. The kid name was Darnell, I believe. The uncle was around the whole time. He was around the whole time. The same uncle that kidnapped and chopped the little boy's finger off and killed him was around the whole time. And even went to the little boy's funeral at that. You understand? Sick. 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 You know what I mean? Very, very sick. For sure. All over drugs and money. You know what I mean? And they still talk about the story to this day. Still talk about this story to this day. You know, your own family members. You know what I mean? All right, well, the boy says, can you even imagine the torture and pain that child felt? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. For sure. You know, for sure. Jeremy says, look at our, they send men and women overseas to slaughter men, women, and children. These people don't get thrown in jail for mass murder. Wow. That's a good point right there, for sure. Cheryl Gibbons says, yeah, they do it to their own children. How can you put a child in a car and forget they're in there? And you get out of the car and know you see the child. No care in the world. Knowledge shall increase says, it's not up to us to forgive him. God will extend his mercy or he won't. He said, it's always someone close by that do these things. My Lord, his own uncle. Yeah. I mean, you could research the story. You could type it in on Google about the situation, you know, with Richard Porter and his brother Darnell. David B says, I just read the story of a mother trying to hire a hitman to kill her 3-year-old child. Like, why? What's the point of a mother wanting to kill her 3-year-old child? Listen, if you don't want the child, give it up for adoption. You know, I would rather that if you don't want your child than to murder it. Give it up for adoption. Give it to a family member, a trusted family member. You understand? Southern Belle, you said, what is that? Letitia, you said took out her stepson and put him in a suitcase, drove to Florida, and dumped his body. She lives in Colorado. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Miss, she said, even the fam, it's so hard to forgive these type of people, and it will only definitely take the Holy Spirit to even help us to deal with it, let alone forgive them. TK says, I remember that incident with Rich Porter's little brother. Cases like that, it was why I distance myself from relatives. And former associates who was chasing a street rep. They commit evil to get a name. You're right. You're right about that. You know, that case, that situation was just nuts. All right. Nala Shalin Cruz says, waiting for a video about if holy people join the military. Well, somebody asked me that question earlier, or we was talking about it and whatnot, about the military or joining the police force and what have you. And I told them, listen, I was in the academy, you know, during doing Truth for God and stuff like that. And they said you have to take an oath. I said, listen, man, yes and no. I was going to figure for sure. And I also said that, you know, certain jobs in the military is not about killing. You know, it's not about killing and stuff like that and things of that nature. You know, although for the most part, it's security of the United States, and it can require killing and can require death at the end of the day for sure. But a lot of jobs in the military are not aimed at killing and whatnot, for sure. But people in holiness are against joining the military. You know what I mean? They're against a lot of things like that, for sure. For whatever reasons, and things like that. you know. Cheryl Gilbert says, Tony, I was talking about when they leave them kids in the cars when it's hot, they care more for the dogs than children. You're right about that. Yep. Yep. He said, thanks for muting. Good I things that God forgives, but there is consequences. Even David in the Bible, who was close to God after murder, was forgiven, but he lost two sons, daughter, and the daughter was forgiven, but there are consequences. What up, Tensu K? What up? What up? Hope all is well with you. Well, a boy said, I just heard last week on the news here in Florida, a boy was missing. The baby mama boyfriend shot her, and someone walking by saw something strange in the gator's mouth. It was a boy. I think we did a story on that. I think we did a story on that with the boyfriend. That was like 2 months ago, I believe, or it was a new situation that happened with the same thing. He threw a little boy in the the pond with the alligators and whatnot, and that's what happened. The child probably didn't know what was going on and stuff like that, and the guy he threw the kid in the lake with alligators. Really? Wow. Threw a child in a lake with alligators, man. Now him, listen, let me have him for about 30 minutes, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me get at him for about 30 minutes. What type of person would do that, man? Throw a child in the lake with alligators. That's crazy. Sherman Gibbons says no, but the military will reel you their God, and my son laughed in the sergeant's face and said, no, you're not. He said, it's inevitable, but you got to kill if you're in the army. You're not there to knit sweaters for your grandmother. Well, I mean, it's always the Coast Guard. Man, it's always the Air Force, going into photography or something like that. Become a cook. You know what I'm saying? Become a cook. But I'll be surprised. A lot of people, they want to join infantry or MP. Gladys says, and when they have about the child abuse, few people join the parade. The kids, the future of tomorrow. Jeremy Dunbar says, in today's society, I'm not surprised that someone would do that. Good I think says, forget the military. You go fight a war, get maimed or die. But 4 years later, for the president that sent you to leave office and retire and play golf while you are maimed for life. Well, the people I know who went to the military, they came out fine. I had a cousin who was in the army and went to Afghanistan and Iraq. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He said a medic. He said a medic. He says only a two-legged demon would throw a child to the gators. Wow. What up, Octavius? What up? What up? What up? Good I think said they almost sent me to fight the Gulf War. I said no. The Marines recruiter called me for days. I was like, no. I mean, I wanted to join the Marines, man. When I was in high school, man, I just like the uniform, man. You understand? That's all I wanted to join the Marines for, But 9/11 came, and I was like, nah. Now if 9/11 wouldn't have came, If it would have came the year after, I probably would have went in right after high school. But once that came during me graduating, no. Jeremy Dunbar says my older brother joined the Marines for infantry. It messed up his head. One of the three chants. What makes the grass grow? Blood, blood, blood. All right. We're about to conclude this live. So if anybody got any last closing remarks, please let me know in the chat room. I thank everybody for coming on, touching on his story about this so-called preacher who confessed to a murder that he admitted to doing back in 1975 in the state of Pennsylvania. He now resides in Georgia, where he's being held in the Cobb County jail for sure. We'll have more videos coming towards this channel for sure. Willa Boy says the uniform was a propaganda hype to will you in. Well, it sure would have got me over. Man, it sure would have got me over. Oh, Scallion, you says I had a question from the beginning. What was your question again? What was your question before we conclude? I don't feel like scrolling back all the way up to go view it. You know what I mean? So you can let me know what was your question, and then we could conclude this live for sure. Good, I think, says I don't regret not joining the Marines. Now I am the real Marines, God's army, with our general as Jesus. That's bet army to be in. All right. You said, did you get my email? You said you wrote me back. I'll check it out after this live in a few minutes. Levy says, what year did he commit this murder? 1975. He committed the murder of a 8-year-old girl. You know what I mean? Out there in Broomhall, Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? He confessed to the crime not too long ago. You know what I mean? Now he's been held in the Cobb County jail for sure. So Scallion, where you at? Where you at? Where are you at, Scallion? You said you had a question. In the very, very beginning. You gotta let me know before I conclude, man. You gotta let me know. You gotta let me know for sure. Okay, Scallion, before we end this live, he said, is it wrong to play classical music? I don't play music that makes you bump and grind or lust or stuff like rap. I mean, listen, hey, never mind my opinion, because I could say whatever, you know. You got to speak to a man. You got to speak to a man of God and stuff like that, in reference to that for sure. You know, because my opinion doesn't outweigh the scriptures, or doesn't outweigh things that are rightly divided with the scriptures and whatnot. You know what I mean? I'm not a preacher. I'm not here to break down certain things like that, because I could say, okay, it's fine. You know what I mean? I don't see nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? I don't see nothing wrong with playing classical music. I never listened to classical music a day in my life to really know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Some people listen to soft music that has meaning to it, that doesn't have any type of wickedness to it, but a lot of people still will deem it as the devil's music, being that it's not holy music. You understand? So it doesn't matter if DMX is talking about I'm slipping, I'm falling, I can't get up. He's talking about his past life, how he was feeling and stuff like that. They still would deem it as demonic music at the end of the day. It don't matter, if somebody's talking about their life or whatever the case may be. A lot of people would say if it's not holy music, then it's of the devil. That's just how it is at the end of the day, for sure. So do I see it that way? My opinion, I'm like that about it. You understand? I'm honest. I'm an honest person. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? That's me, for sure. But I would advise you to speak to somebody who could break down scriptures on that and things like that, because my opinions don't matter. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, For sure. Jen Juice, you said debates. Debates is coming soon. For sure. Let me say this about biblical discussions. Let me say this because I was going to do a whole live on biblical discussions and talking about it. You know what I mean? Listen, to the people or person who texts me about I shouldn't be having biblical discussions, shut up. You understand? That's what I got to say. Shut up. You understand? If you feel as though that I don't need to be doing biblical discussions, then you do something. You understand? You have your YouTube channel or you have whatever the case may be, then you do it. You know what I'm saying? And listen, and to those who's telling certain people that I need to take certain videos down, no. You understand that? What I do has nothing to do with nobody else. If I put a cooking video up, it has something to do with me. If I put an exercise videos up, it has something to do with me and me only. You know what I mean? Granted that I have different things on here and whatnot and things like that. Listen, nobody could tell me what to do with my YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? At all. Would I take advice? Sure. I'll take advice. I've taken advice from Geno Jennings. You know what I'm saying? He's probably the only one I would take advice from. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, a lot of people need to stop being over righteous and whatnot because it is some of the same people who listen. You can imagine the text messages, the emails I get about the biblical discussion, and they don't know I had this out for about 4 years now. We started from the telephone. Now all of a sudden, people want to say something about it. At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with two people having a conversation. That's all it is. It's a conversation. At the end of the day, if people feel as though that I shouldn't have this or this person shouldn't be on or whatever the case may be, then you step up to the plate. You step up to the plate for sure. You know what I mean? You teach us what's the proper way of breaking certain topics down and things like that. That's my whole thing about it. You know, people talk outside of the boxing ring. Oh, you should throw the hook. You should have threw the left uppercut. You should have blocked it and come back with the left hook. And you come in the ring then. You understand? You come in here at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I've been going through this for quite some time now. You know what I mean? And listen, I voice myself to anybody. You understand? I don't hold back from nobody. It doesn't matter who it is at the end of the day. It don't matter. You know what I mean? You cannot tell a grown man what he should do. You know what I mean? What he should do and what he should not do. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I take a stand for myself. I don't care who it is. You know what I mean? This is my channel. I'm not being arrogant or anything like that, but you can't tell a grown man what to do with his something that he built, something that he owns. You cannot do that at the end of the day. You understand that? So that's to them people out there who keep texting me and emailing me and whatever the case may be upon what I should and should not do. You understand? At the end of the day. You know what I mean? So that's what I got to say. And I was going to make a whole live about that because it's been going on for quite some time. People don't see the behind the scenes stuff that what I go through. All of a sudden now these people want to talk about the biblical discussion platform. For what? You understand? For what? For what reason? Where was these people when we first started? Where was they? I ain't hear nothing from these people until now. Or about a year ago or 2 years ago, you start hearing people, well, you shouldn't have this. You shouldn't have that. X, Y, Z, this and that. Listen, I do what I want on here. Simple as that. We ain't bothering nobody at the end of the day. We ain't putting nothing negative up. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about a bunch of gossip and this and that at all. We ain't doing that. You understand? So if you have a good idea in reference to something, then you do it on your YouTube channel. You do it on your social media. Don't come here at all. And that's the Indian, everybody who got something to say, who was texting me and emailing me and stuff like that. Leave me alone. You understand? I'm doing my thing over here. You know what I'm saying? We empowering the people. We encouraging the people and stuff like that with exercise. Listen, they don't talk about the good videos. We talking about the good videos like exercise and this. They don't want to talk about that. They want to nitpick with stuff. Okay, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. This and that. You know what I mean? It's almost like a police officer giving people tickets just for jaywalking while there's a murder taking place right across the street. You understand that? That's crazy. There's murders taking place right around the corner, right in the hood, right across the street, and you concerned about somebody jaywalking? Cut it out, man. Cut it out. All I got to say is, please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Leave me alone. Please. I don't like getting started. You understand? You understand? Please don't get me started. That's to them folks who was texting me. Like I said, I got a text from somebody. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't care if we're in the same organization. I will check you at the end of the day. You understand? Right is right and wrong is wrong. And you can't tell a grown man what to do with his establishment at all. You understand? For sure. You can't walk into somebody's store if they selling, nice clothes and stuff like that. Well, you should shut it down because you got this over here that I don't like. I don't like this shirt right here. You understand? I don't like this. It's wrinkled a little bit. Shut the store down. You understand? You don't have no pull or anything like that. If somebody owns something, you understand? You can't go to somebody's house that they own and say, "Listen, I don't like your grass over here. You should sell his house. I don't like it." Huh? What type of mindset do people think they could come to somebody's house, somebody's establishment, somebody's business, and tell them they need to shut it down because of something that they don't like? What? Are you crazy? Listen, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm the wrong person to deal with, man. Cut it out. You understand? Cut it way out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, like I said, I'm not bothering nobody at the end of the day. You understand? So we're going to continue what we're doing over here. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. You understand? Simple as that. That's all I got to say about that. All right? Because I haven't mentioned anything about it with these emails and stuff like that, for sure. Let me see. He says, tell him, you know what, for that, cram back-to-back debates with Peter Baptist, 1 week of that, and then he said, Peter Baptist. He says, I'm over here quiet, but I'm hollering, telling somebody to shut up. Priscilla, it has 0 subscribers. It's funny. Yeah, and like I said, it doesn't hurt to take advice from people. That's cool. If somebody has some advice, and you should do it like a coach. If you should do it this way, respectfully. But when somebody come in all over righteous and overzealous and stuff like that, then we have a problem. You understand? Then we have a problem at the end of the day. I remember somebody, was over righteous and overzealous about something that I put out on his YouTube channel some years back. So I put out a video. I'm not going to say what it is, you know what I'm saying, some years back. And they was over righteous and overzealous about it. You know what I mean? And then I went to their Facebook page and they had a whole bunch of folly on there. You understand that? So you can't talk about somebody, especially if they're not putting out anything negative, and then you got a bunch of, nonsense on your Facebook page or your social media. You know what I mean? Or you're not saying stuff that about yourself. You have to talk about yourself first before you talk about anybody else. It don't matter who you is at the end of the day, for sure. That's the key factor right there. You cannot talk about somebody, especially if they ain't doing nothing negative. You know what I'm saying? Especially that. But you got people out there that would try to find something to nitpick with you. Even if you're doing good, even if you're on the right path, there's somebody out there that will try to find something and nitpick with you. You know what I mean? And guess what? It'd be the closest ones to you. You understand that? It'd be the closest ones to you at the end of the day. But I'm here to say, man, chill out, please. Chill out. I'm not bothering nobody. Leave me alone. You understand? Leave me alone. All right? Oh man, y'all funny, man. Absolutely, man. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And a lot of people in general, they're not real with themselves. They try to put on a whole persona. You know what I mean? Because certain people think because they could quote a couple of scriptures and appear like they holy and you know what I'm saying and things like that. That is 100% with them. Oh no, it doesn't work that way. You understand? It don't work that way because you can appear to be holy, but guess what? Behind the scenes is something else. You know what I mean? A lot of people can't be real with themselves. They can't be. You know what I mean? They really can't be. Oh man. Jeremy says we keep coming back to take the mote out of your eye before you take the speck out of your brother's eye. I wrote that yesterday on Facebook. You know what I mean? About that. I believe that was Matthew chapter 7, right? Verse 5. About that. And that's a true statement right there, man. Excuse me. That's a true statement. That's a true statement. You know, one thing I don't do is go around telling people, oh, you should do this. You should stop that. I'm trying to clean myself up first. I'm trying to fix myself up first. Now, a guy like me is a prime example of that. And people who claim to be quote unquote striving for God, you need to be like that. If you're not a preacher who's living a righteous life, be quiet. Be quiet. You understand? If you ain't got it right, be quiet. Be quiet. You understand? If you are committing adultery on your wife and you claim to be in holiness, be quiet. If you're creeping in that woman's inbox and you're married, be quiet. You understand? If you're smoking weed and getting drunk and you claim to be in holiness, be quiet. You understand? Be quiet. I see things on the internet of people in holiness. You know what I'm saying? That it's not a good look. Be quiet. You understand? Be quiet. You will never see Tony Harvin in no scandals or anything. Never. You understand? Nothing. For sure. Be quiet. You understand? Be quiet. You know what I mean? Like I said, leave me alone. Please leave me alone. You understand? I don't bother people of that aspect. Oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. No. Leave me alone. You understand? Leave me alone and be quiet. For sure. All right? We gotta conduct this thing in a righteous manner. For sure. Like I said, you won't see me telling people what to do or what they should do. You know what I'm saying? If I don't have it together, I'm not gonna sit here and tell the next man or next woman or whatever, you should do it this way. Be quiet. You understand? Be quiet. For sure. You know what I mean? All right. Oh, I'm not no angel. I'm not no angel. No, don't put that on me. Listen, don't put that on me. I ain't no angel. I ain't say all that now. I got a lot of work that needs to be done with myself. I ain't no angel at all. All right. I will say that. I will say that. So I like to thank Gino for preaching on that yesterday about overzealous people. And we talked about that the other day. Man, it's almost like wow. We talked about hypocrites and he touched on it. Man, he touched on it yesterday too, man. I'm like, yes, I'm glad he touched on that. I'm happy he touched on that. For sure. I'm so happy he touched on that. You know what I mean? I'm happy. For sure. You know what I mean? And he definitely put it down yesterday about overzealous people and over righteous people. Uh-huh. I mean, these people don't even these people really don't take heed to that. You got to take heed to being an over righteous person. Listen, they don't feel it that they over righteous. You understand? You can't sit here and try to shove Bible down people's throats when you ain't got it together. You could read the scriptures, you could understand it, but guess what? People who are quote unquote aiming for God, you got to apply it to your life. You understand? You got to apply that thing to your life, which is the hardest part. For sure. And that thing is hard. That thing is hard. You understand? Be honest with yourself. Listen, I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with that. XYZ. Listen, I see this person doing this over here. I can't say nothing to this person because I'm trying to get right in that area. So I might go against Matthew 7:5 if I talk about this person, but I'm over here doing it. It's common sense. All right? Oh man. It's funny. All right. We're about to sign off. Thank y'all for tuning in for sure. Do remember Tony Harvin TV, True of God videos. To the trolls, to the people, to that person who was texting me 2 weeks ago about, I shouldn't have biblical discussions and whatnot and stuff like that. Be quiet. You understand? Be quiet. All right. May you all have a wonderful day. God bless everybody out there. I hope everybody have a wonderful sleep. I'm Tony Harvin. I'm signing off. Peace. Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Do remember, if you'd like to subscribe to this channel, hit that subscribe button, and also hit the notification bell right here and select all to receive all notifications upon the videos that come out on this channel. Also, my backup channel is Tony Harvin Network, if you'd like to do the same.